Now, ever since the very end of the sequel trilogy, ending of course with episode 9, a lot of fans have been very happy with what happened with the Mandalorian Season 2 finale, literally redeeming the character of Luke Skywalker and really going back to the roots of the character from Legends. This is Mike Zero. Make sure to subscribe if you're new to the channel for future Star Wars content. Now, the thing about Disney Star Wars is that yes, we do know that they are already working on over a dozen Star Wars projects as we speak. That is, of course, on Disney Plus alone. Let that sink in for a moment there. They're working on over a dozen projects already, be it TV shows in animated and/or live-action form. That's completely separate from the movies, the comics, the books, the video games, and more. That, by the way, is all going to interconnect to make up this new expanded universe. Now, everything with the sequel trilogy. Obviously, the sequel trilogy was a very big, sour mess for a lot of fans out there. A lot of fans had a ton of problems with Kathleen Kennedy's direction, with The Last Jedi, and The Rise of Skywalker. I will admit, The Force Awakens had a decent start. It opened up the gateway of possibilities to come for Episode 8 at the time, but once Episode 8 failed, it pretty much went downhill from there. Now, of course, we do know that a lot of work is being done by Jon Favreau and Dave Filoni, as well as George Lucas, to really get Star Wars back on track. By the way, The Mandalorian Chapter 16 was a great start to doing that. They really have, succeeded in doing so with Luke Skywalker and really doing incredible things for the fandom. Now, with that being said, of course, the character of Rey was a very criticized character in the Star Wars community from the sequel trilogy, based on how the character was used by Kathleen Kennedy. It's described, however, that Disney CEO Bob Chapek is working on to drop a 4-hour cut of Episode 9 on Disney Plus in the coming years that will include a series of deleted scenes. It's described that one major scene that is set to arrive on this cut of the film is a scene featuring an alternate Rey identity reveal as Rey Kenobi during her travels into the Lost City that takes place below the surface of the world of Pasaana. Now, further, it's described that the scene was only partially shot and will be completed until become an extra scene within the 4-hour cut of Episode 9, featuring Rey meeting with the Force Ghost of Obi-Wan Kenobi within the Lost City, where it originally was unveiled for Rey to be the granddaughter of course, Palpatine. In the original cut that we got in the final cut, the original concept by J.J. Abrams was to have her become the granddaughter of Obi-Wan Kenobi in this cut of the movie. Now, on top of this, J.J. Abrams and Lucas originally wanted to reflect on why Rey heard Kenobi's voice in The Force Awakens' Maz Kanata castle scene, in which she enters a vision. Now, Rey Kenobi as a scene will be a complete makeover for the universe and will be complete over the next couple of years to show the fans an extra sequence, however, is not going to be considered canon in the Skywalker saga at all. So let's stop right here for 1 second now. Now, we even heard Daisy Ridley talk about this, I believe it was 2, maybe 3 months ago, that they were going back and forth between Rey Palpatine, Rey Nobody, legitimate Rey Skywalker, and other outlets out there that they were trying to take advantage of for the character of Rey. Rey Kenobi was a big one, and that's actually one that really advanced more than the others. Now, Rey Kenobi was going to be a big deal. Obviously they wanted to do incredible things, and this also matches directly up with what we talked about over a year ago of how Ewan McGregor was apparently involved with Episode 9 in using a lot of CGI work to look more like Alec Guinness, and to actually have him appear in a very major sequence between himself and Rey. Now, we also know that Colin Trevorrow, before he was fired, he was actually taking on the concept of Rey Nobody, just making her Rey Nobody. I believe, if I'm not mistaken, in the Duel of the Fates script, she's noted as Rey Solana, if I'm not mistaken. You guys can correct me on that. But Rey Solana was the overall original name of Rey Skywalker. It was something around those lines. Now, the Rey Kenobi format for The Rise of Skywalker, the fact that Bob Chapek is embracing this to be a special separate scene of the new 4-hour cut of Episode 9 is going to be interesting, though it's not going to be considered canon. The new retcon, however, is going to make her a legitimate Skywalker. We have discussed this before, just yesterday actually, between Favreau, Filoni, and others. So the Rey Kenobi thing is interesting because if you guys actually go ahead and check out that leaked concept art by Jon Favreau, he himself even had a scene in which Rey meets Obi-Wan Kenobi as a Force ghost in the netherworld of the Force. So you can see where that kind of stemmed from by J.J. Abrams, of how Rey meets the Force ghost within the netherworld, and how, you know, that was going to pretty much really give fans a little different view on the character. Now, like I've said before in the past, I think that obviously a lot of fans are going to be very intrigued about this, but some fans out there may not be. So yeah, guys, you know, drop a comment below. Let me know what you think about all this in the comments, and if you guys did enjoy the content for today, do make sure to drop a thumbs up on this video to support the channel. I thank you all so very much for the kind support, and I'll catch you guys next time.